Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully one of your favorite official content creators for the First Descendant, and today I will be showing you my Valby build for Season 3. Several of you have asked me, will I make a Valby build for Season 3? A lot of you like to play Valby. As you guys know, I don't like Valby at all, but I still made a build anyway because it was a popular request. So the build is done, and I will show you how to run it. Now, normally I have a little advertisement in my videos, but I am really short on time today, so I'm just going to dive right into it. Okay, let's get started. So, oh, and don't forget to register me as your content creator if you haven't already. Link is in the video description. Now, let's get started immediately. I'm going to remove my camera, and let's talk about it. Okay, so what Valby will use is a materialized mixture reactor. This is a non-attribute fusion reactor. Make sure you have a scout rifle mounting, a hand cannon mounting, and the third mounting can be whatever you want. The scout rifle mounting is primarily used for the critical build. All right, the hand cannon mounting is used for other builds because that pairs with the Peacemaker. But mostly we'll be using the scout rifle mounting to pair with the Blue Beetle's unique ability. So that is why this reactor is important. For the reactor's options, skill cooldown and fusion skill power boost is what you're going to use. For your external components, you will actually use the exact same set as we had for Jaber, as well as for Nell. It is the Enlightened Mage Auxiliary Power, and this is because this gives you the best bang for your buck. All right. In terms of the core roles and the option roles for the entire external component set for the auxiliary power, here are your roles. For the mage sensor, here are your roles. Okay. For the mage memory, here are your roles. And for the mage processor, here are your roles. I'm not going to go in depth on these roles because, quite frankly, you've seen them all in previous videos already, so you should already know what this is all about. This is the exact same set that we have on Jaber and all of them, so, you know, same thing, no difference there. Okay, that covers the reactor as well as the external components. Now let's get into the weapon. For the Blue Beetle, this is what I have in terms of its modules. You can take a screenshot right now and just copy and paste this because this is what I've got, and realistically speaking, you won't even be shooting this gun, just so you know. All right, so this is a bit of a placeholder that I used for other builds, and you can copy this if you'd like, okay? But as for whether it's ideal or not, I haven't really played around because genuinely I'm not shooting this gun. In fact, if you take a look at the, I haven't even done the weapon readjustments on this because I turned this particular Blue Beetle into a speed stick. All right, the most important thing is to have 2 sprint speed cores so Valby can move around as quickly as possible. All right, try to get both sprint speed cores to 20%. I ran out of yellow cores, so I haven't gotten the second one to 20% yet, but I do at least have one 20% core and one 17% core for the sprint speed, so that's good enough. All right, main thing about Blue Beetle that you guys want to take into account is the unique ability of the Blue Beetle. Okay, let me walk you through it after a quick drink of water. Okay, for the Blue Beetle, it has the unique ability that when you use a fusion skill, and Valby's first and fourth skills are fusion skills, okay, you will grant yourself the unique ability Arcane Energy. This is the most important thing. Arcane Energy is a guaranteed trigger rate. It lasts for 10 seconds, and it gives you a skill critical hit rate of 115% increase. All right? This is awesome. Why? Because what we're going to do is we are going to use Valby's Supply Moisture, which gives her a base increase to her skill critical rate of 20%. Valby's base critical hit rate, okay, is actually 5%. Now, if you, this is with modules on, if I were to show you like this one where I have, oh, sorry, because there's modules here that would affect crit rate. Okay, never mind. Just know that Valby's base is 5%, okay? I would show it to you, but I don't want to take out the modules because I was working on other builds and stuff. But anyway, the base is 5%. So when you increase it via Supply Moisture, your base is 25%. This means that your Blue Beetle, the Blue Beetle's unique ability, okay, of giving you 115% would take the base of 25 and you get another 25 on top of that, which is effectively the 100% increase. I mean, you get a bit more than that, but that essentially pushes you to 50%. Add in all the critical hit rate modules, and you actually get Valby close to 100% crits, all right, which you guys will see in the field. So that is why we're going to use the Blue Beetle. And last but not least, here are her modules. For this particular loadout, here's what we're going to use. You are going to have Supply Moisture as your Transcendent module. You'll have Mid-Air Maneuvering as your sub-attack. Supply Moisture, as I've mentioned, basically what it does is that it will increase your skill critical hit rate, your firearm critical hit rate, your firearm attack and explosive attack, and your skill duration by 10%. Okay, the main thing is getting the increase in the crits. That's the crucial thing. And that's what is so awesome here. Now, in order to take full advantage of that, here's what you're going to need in your build. Increased HP is your base survival. If you feel that you can survive without it, you can use Battle of Stamina to get a little more duration out of this build. But with Battle of Stamina, okay, her hit points, if I just remove my cam there, goes down to 10,250. If you find that this is enough for you to survive, then go for it. Okay, but I prefer a little bit more, so I use increased hit points. There you go. And that takes me up to 12,944, which helps me survive most situations. Okay? All right. Then, in terms of your cooldowns, you'll have Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion, pretty standard. Focus on non-attribute, Focus on Fusion, which also increases your damage. All right, so these four are crucial. Focus on non-attribute, Focus on Fusion, Nimble Fingers, MP Conversion. Done. That's your cooldowns, as well as your damage. Next, Skill Expansion and Skill Extension. Skill Expansion will give you a range increase. Valby's first skill has a max expandable range of 250%. If you pair this up with our if you pair Skill Expansion together with our Arche Tuning, as well as the passive from the Inversion Reinforcer, you will actually be able to get pretty close to 250%. You'll be slightly less, but it's better than overcapping. So I found that this is the combination that works best, which also gives me the freedom to put in Skill Extension. Skill Extension extends the duration of all your skills, duh, all right? But this makes her puddles last longer. Every single puddle can do its own instance of damage, which is what makes Valby so strong. So by having as many puddles as possible, you can trigger a lot of damage on your opponents. So take advantage of that, all right? Great. Now, last but not least, you are going to need 3 critical modules: Skill Insight, Skill Concentration, and Frontlines. Okay, this gives you the best amount of critical hit damage while not going under the cap of criticals. You'll actually be at about 97-ish. I'll show you in the field later, but that is enough for you to almost guarantee criticals on every hit, which you want, okay? You don't want to be missing criticals because it's a damage multiplier. Okay, now you understand the modules and what we've built here. Let's talk about the trigger module. Death by 1,000 cuts is used here. Okay, the other option is Power Beyond, but having tested both of them on the live stream, they actually came out to be about the same. So Death by 1,000 cuts works on her first skill and her fourth skill, whereas Power Beyond works on every single skill. So it's really your choice what you want to use. But I do like Death by 1,000 cuts because you will tend to spam your first skill a lot. And each time you do, you get 4 stacks because the first skill is a multi-explosive projectile, which gives 4 stacks of Death by 1,000 cuts. All you need is 12 stacks to trigger the effect, and it's pretty beautiful. So you can constantly have this extra damage raining down on your enemies, which can be pretty good for mobbing, I guess. So Death by 1,000 cuts is what worked for me, but you can happily replace that with Power Beyond if you want to. Okay? All right, let's move on. Now, as always, we talk about Inversion Reinforcer and Arche Tuning before we go off and do the demonstration. So, in terms of your Inversion Reinforcer, you will use a pretty standard build. When defeating an enemy, you get yourself Focus Boost, which reduces your skill cost. Okay, this is a must-have. Then you will want Electric Focus rounds to pair with the Blue Beetle. Okay, and last but not least, you want Selective Neurostimulation to give you back MP. Okay, pretty standard, straightforward. This is the same stuff. If you want to swap anything out, then you can swap out Focus Boost for, say, more defense, like Deploy Hardened Shell, but that's up to you. I mean, I'm sure you guys have already watched my video on all the Inversion Reinforcer perks, so if you need to modify stuff, modify it. Okay, Arche Tuning, and then we go to the demonstration. Arche Tuning is fairly straightforward as well. Okay, you want to go all the way down the right-hand side here. Now, you can actually drop this one, okay, if you don't want to, but you may as well take it because there's just 1 point left over, all right? But you do need all the range here, so you still have to come all the way up here, even if you don't take this node. Now, go straight up and get your cooldowns. Then go to the left and grab all your enhanced criticals and critical hit damage. Lastly, go to the right, and your mutant cell is non-attribute cohesion, all right? This is self-explanatory, but when defeating an enemy, you have a chance to give non-attribute cohesion to yourself. It goes up to 3 stacks, and it increases your non-attribute skill power. Okay, so you want that. This is what gives Valby the best bang for her buck, or so I found. And let's go off and see it. Let's go actually see it in the Axion Plains. Like we do with these demonstrations, all right, I do them completely solo. And I can just walk straight into the field and do the demonstration. There's no need for me to edit the video. There's no need for me to do a little bit of video magic because these builds are honest. What you see is exactly what will work. All right, so all you got to do is build the same stuff, copy everything correctly, and you're good to go. Now, make sure the blue beetle is in your hands, yeah? Make sure you're riding an orca because it is the easiest to control. You can ride a vortex if you really want the speed, but I like the orca.
A large cluster of breach creatures has been detected in the area.
So, how do you start this thing off? Just keep spamming your first skill. Create puddles everywhere, and whether you're standing in the puddle, right, you've got supply moisture. Get your stacks going for death by 1,000 cuts, and it will just drop on your enemies. All right, that's the beautiful part. It'll just drop on any nearby enemies and wipe them out. Now, once this thing spawns, okay, here's what you do. I'll use my 4th skill to create a nice little bubble field and just keep murdering everything. Everything will come toward you in a private run like this where you're soloing, and it's hilarious because there's no mercy. Everything will just come towards you and die. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. It's a beautiful day in the Axion Plains, and Valby is slaying. Now, once she's all good, go over here. Funny enough, this is the exact mission that we tested it on live on stream. I think many of you guys will recognize it. If you need to cover a larger area, you can actually use her other skills as well. Don't think that you're only forced to use your first skill and your 4th skill. No, you can actually go and use more than that. Now, when you've got the big bosses, all right, what I like to do is I like to just constantly plant puddles around it, and it should die off. You see how much damage it's taking right there by all the puddles? Yep, there you go. Don't even need to fire your gun. All right. And yes, I leave the assault ships be. I know some people like to take them out, but I'm the type of person that says, meh, whatever. I'm just too lazy to do that. The crucial key is to make sure you're always triggering arcane energy. Alright, as long as you've got arcane energy, your crits are beautiful. You can actually take a look in the field. We've got 97.525% as long as you've got arcane energy on. So that's really, really awesome. Okay, there it is. Same as last time.
Picking up void mutant signals. Be careful. This one's for you. Watch out for the flash. Bounce. Watch out for the flash.
Get your water orb to bounce as much as possible. All right. Because every bounce is going to create a puddle, and that's its own instance of damage. And that's beautiful. Look at that. Just like that. The amount of effort you require is almost as low as Jaber, which is beautiful.
Respond immediately.
Okay, then you can splash around like so. Just make sure that as these things die, you get yourself some MP. All right, because there's no MP recovery in this. So I don't know why it doesn't let me teleport sometimes on the uneven ground. But if it doesn't, there's an alternative method. You can just use your 3rd skill instead. All right, so if it's not letting you teleport often, you can use your 3rd skill and just go through the enemies. It'll work the same. Your 3rd skill can also be used in a defensive capacity. Alright, just don't forget that it actually reduces damage you take while in water form. So you can kind of abuse that in some situations,
One's for you.
which is awesome overall. Now there's just one left. Okay, it's dead. Great.
Descendant, primary
When the
tactical
boss
objective
spawns, what you
confirmed
want to do
operation
is,
zone.
if you want to
Please
put down
take
lots
it
of
out.
puddles near the boss, alright, I cast while looking directly at the ground. This creates multiple instances of the puddle. Right there, so the Abyss Scarab is gonna get ripped straight away just by the DOT. Okay, and you just keep doing that. Even when it's got Carapace armor on, this is all you really gotta do. Create multiple instances of damage. Then, when you're ready, you can blast it with all your ammo right there. Okay? And bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Now, one last little trick with the blue Beetle, alright? There's a alternative here that I did call Valby ammo. It's the exact same build, except payout is replaced with expand weapon charge. Why do I do this? This gives you even more shots on your launcher, allowing you to build up quite the bubble field. Alright? So that is an alternative for the blue Beetle. And only those who watch the video to this level will be able to see it. But anyway, that took me about 4 minutes, 49 seconds. So not the fastest, but also not too slow. Alright? So if you want to use Valby, this is the way to do it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you guys will enjoy the content. Alright, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm sorry to sort of rush through it today. I really had no time, but I also didn't want to not post the video because I know you guys have been asking about it. Alright, thank you very much. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't do anything too weird while I'm gone, okay? Catch you later.